Afternoon.
See Luke out there at the part of practice we were at. What's his status so far?
He didn't practice today. He's got a foot.
Is that the same injury he kind of played through Sunday, or did something
Yeah,
happen?
same one.
Are you reasonably confident that given where that was and what he was able to do Sunday, he'd be able to go this week?
We'll see how he feels as the week goes by.
How do you look at this 49ers defensive line with the addition of Chase Young? They've got 3 out of their starting 4 that are first-round picks. Javon Hargrave, the Frazier pickup, might be playing the best out of all 4 of those. What do you see up front when you look at that front 4?
I mean, they're explosive. They can get after the passer. They do very well stunting in the run game. They're strong up front. They're first-round picks for a reason. They got a lot of stars over there.
So for a team that's brought a lot of pressure with their front 4, they don't have a lot of sacks. I think they're 20th in the league, but they're up there in terms of pressures. Is our teams just trying to get the ball out of their hands quickly? Is that the way to attack San Francisco?
I don't know if it's the way to attack them, but you're definitely getting the ball out of there. You know, the pressures are probably more important than the sacks because you're not looking downfield. And as long as they're getting pressures, which they are, and getting the ball out, I'm pretty sure they're happy because they got guys in the back that can fly around and make plays.
Todd, is this one of the more diverse offenses you're facing when you got a running back, McCaffrey, you can catch it and run it. Alex, Debo Samuel, catch it and run it. Kittle and Ayuk, doing their parts of stretch the field.
They've got a lot more weapons, and they got a lot more yak yard guys than we faced recently. So all of them can do a lot of things, and obviously Kittle is in there as well. So, you know, we just got to be able to tackle. We got to be where we need to be at the right time, and we got to gang tackle.
Todd, we don't always look back a whole lot on Wednesdays, but you had a random play Sunday where on punt return, Zion thought there were 12 on the field, but he was on the far side of the field and went off the field on the opposite side. In that situation, would you rather have a timeout there, or are you okay just taking a 5-yard penalty in a first quarter of a game like that?
Well, he was on the field. Had I saw him go over there on the sideline, I would have called a timeout.
You'd rather use the timeout there than eat the 5 yards?
Yeah.
Coach, we saw Marquise Watts get his first regular season action, extended action there. What have you seen of him? I mean, this is a guy that was a trial guy, right? Not even an undrafted free agent necessarily, but what did you see of him in practice that gave you the confidence to put him out there, and then, of course, he produced in the game?
He's gone against Luke and Tristan every day, and we give him the best pass rusher of the week so he can give them guys work because he works hard nonstop, and he's been giving them fits. And because he's been giving them fits and they've been blocking well in ball games, a lot of that is a credit to him. So we said, he deserves a shot. Let's see what he does on Sunday. He went out and did the same thing. So we really like where he's at right now, and he's coming along good.
Did he earn more playing time that way, or?
He should earn some playing time.
I'm sorry, if I could just follow, Yaya Diaby is the other young guy, right, that we've seen him develop, and you had expectations for him, obviously you drafted him. Are those two guys sort of, you step back a step and go, you know what, we got 2 pretty good young pass rushers here on the outside, along with, your first-round pick. Future's pretty good.
Still developing, but we really like all 3 of them. We like all 3 of them right now, like where they are, like the way they're developing. Obviously, they got to continue to be healthy and do all the right things to play, and they're heading in that direction, so we're very happy about that.
What do you think it was where the defense, after that clunker, like you said, gave up all those points, was able to come back and play so well Sunday? What do you think was the main reason? Was it them? They took it upon themselves, or?
I mean, everybody's got a lot of pride. You don't want to just have a bad game and not come back from it. You're not going to go in the tank. You either attack it head on or you go back in the tank. Those guys have a lot of pride. We've played a lot of good football in the past, and everybody got down, put their nose down to the grindstone, and got back to work as a group, and we understand what we're capable of, and they came out and played the game.
Prior to the Jacksonville victory for San Francisco, they dropped 3 straight games and only scored 17 points in each of those. The turnovers were the main factor probably leading into those losses. Is that how you beat San Francisco, is you've got to get the ball out of their hands?
That's one way. You either score a lot of points or you make them turn it over, hopefully, so we can get one or the other or maybe both of them. But they're a very good football team. They don't have many bad games, and we got to play a solid football game to give ourselves a chance.
Your defenses have done a good job against McCaffrey in the past when he was with the Panthers. Do they use him in a different way, and what's been the key in sort of containing him, so to speak?
In Carolina, he was one of maybe 2 or 3 stars. He got about 5 or 6 of them over there in San Fran, and they move him around a lot, and they do a lot more with him as well as with the other guys, so they make it difficult to keep tabs on him. I think that's the difference from when he was in San Fran to Carolina.
And what's the key to not letting him take the game over?
Tackling, the yak yards. Him and Debo break so many tackles. It's unbelievable. You have to group gang tackle them if you can. You got to be able to get them down and limit yards per catch and limit him in the run game if you can. But he does so many things well. It's hard to just contain him. You just try to slow him down if you can.
You didn't know much about Purdy when you faced him last year, but now that obviously he's played quite a few games, is the approach different in facing him?
I hope the results are different. Obviously, they beat us pretty good last year, and some things we got to change and we learn from, and hopefully that changes for the better. But he's a good quarterback. He's a good football player. He's a smart football player. Kyle plays smart football players. He takes care of the ball. He knows where to go with the football, and he can use his feet when he needs to. So it's going to be, other than the other weapons they have, that's a challenge in itself with him using his feet as well.
You guys have so many different looks defensively, and I don't want you to share more than you want to share here, but you have one where you have neither Delaney nor Neal on the field, and Izzy is almost like your second safety. Just want to ask you about that package and what you like about it. Usually there's 3 down linemen of that as well.
I mean, it's really a base package when they put in an extra guy, when we're pretty sure they're going to run the ball and spread out personnel, but keep the base in there to have a bigger guy up there. So, then just an extra guy that can cover as opposed to a safety covering the wide out. But it's really the penny package. A lot of teams use it. You use your base personnel and you sub out a safety for an extra cover guy.
Tristan hasn't given up a sack, moving to left tackle, and you're going up against Bosa. You got Chase on the other side. What is it like to have, I guess you would call it a luxury of an all-pro type talent that can hold his own on the edge, and you may not have to give him much help?
I mean, you forget he moved from right to left just this year because he hasn't given up a sack, but he works hard at it. He takes a lot of pride in it, and he'll have his hands full this week with several pass rushers that they have, and I'm sure he'll do his due diligence to be ready to play, and I think he's excited for the competition.
Did you expect this transition to be so quick?
I knew he would compete and play hard. I knew he would do well. I didn't expect it, and I'm pretty sure it's not seamless if you ask him, but if you're looking at it from the outside in, because he hasn't given up a sack, it looks like an easy transition, but he works at it very hard.
Fred Warner gets a lot of headlines in San Francisco, but the Dre Greenlaw is really a great linebacker too. Can you just comment on Greenlaw and what he brings to that 1-2 punch they have at linebacker?
They feed off each other. I mean, Fred's headlines are well-deserved. Greenlaw plays. Boy, he plays. He goes from sideline to sideline. He's very physical. He can cover. He makes just as many plays. And, the guys that are in the league that know how valuable he is.
That screen to Rashad was a big play last week. What are the chances we see more of that going forward? And if you can be an effective screen team as a defensive coordinator, how devastating is that can be to a defense?
That's tough. It makes you hesitate if you're a blitzing team, and if you can block it up and get out on the screen, and it's a high completion percentage, and if you can get some blockers out there and get some runs, it's tough for any defense to do.
Anything else?
Thanks.
Thanks, Todd.